What's
What
going
up?
on?
What's happening? What's happening?
Not much. Welcome back, guys, to another Let Loose Dog Talk. Hey, I'm Dennis with Regardables. I'm my co-host Gabriel with GAM American Bulldogs. How's everything, Gabe?
So far so good, man. It's a little warm today, but it's been getting like that. But today overall has been a good day. Actually, can't complain.
That is true, man. It's been hot, and it's gonna start getting hotter. I know tomorrow I'm gonna be around the triple digits, so it's gonna be pretty warm.
Yeah, that's always fun. Not.
Yeah, keep those dogs cool. Plenty of water. Keep them hydrated.
Yeah, shade.
Yeah, for sure. Well, today, Gabriel, man, I got it. Somebody asked me a question, and they
Uh
asked,
oh.
"What's the purpose of a dog?"
Oh shoot.
You know,
Of
and
there.
um, and I answered, and I told them I was like, you know what, it really depends on you what purpose you want the dog to be, but it all depends too on certain breeds what purpose they have. You know, what's a train yard?
Yeah, depending on the certain breeds and yeah, kind of what you're using it for, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I asked them, I was like, do you have dogs? And they said, yeah, I do. They said they had like a little mixed dog. They didn't know what it was. And so I asked them, so what is the purpose of your dog? And they said it was for companion, but at the same time, they said um, it was for kind of emotional support dog. I guess the lady suffered from a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. And she said
Oh, okay.
her dog kind of helped her with that, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and my mind, I'm thinking certain breed was their purpose and stuff, but not everybody has, purebred dogs, and some of them serve for different purposes. You got dogs that are in, like the law enforcement, you know, but each one in there have a different purpose. Some are, you see canines in with officers, doing routine stops and stuff like that. But then you got canines that are smelling bombs, detecting drugs, and all this other stuff. That's their purpose, right? It's a working breed. So that was, I felt that that was an interesting question to bring up. What's the purpose of a dog?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, as we know, right, there is dogs that were bred for purposes. Um, but yeah, I think some people, it as individuals, right, they probably get their dogs for a certain reason, um, whatever it may be, or they're like some people are like comfortable. They always had a dog, so maybe the purpose of them having the dog is like that, maybe for comfort, or they've always just had one. People, I was like, I don't know, I've always had a dog since I was like 5, and now I'm 45.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just kind of one of those things. Me personally, I've always had dogs. Um, but we've always, had a dog around. It's just been something. And then if we don't for too long, then kind of replace it. Like, oh, okay, let's, you know, get this dog. I know somebody they had a Labrador, right? Retriever, obviously, if it's a retriever.
Yeah.
Um, and they had it for 14 years and it passed away. And then they got another one, like a chocolate lab, and it's probably been maybe less than a year. And they got a new one, and yeah, that dog's purpose is just to be their pet, right? To be their best friend, to be their companion. Um, Even though now their kids are grown and stuff, they still wanted a dog. To kind of be there when you get home, spend some time with. Um,
Yeah,
but
no, no, for sure. Kind of, and same thing, like the breed that we breed, the American Bulldog. It was a utility farm dog. Whether to cattle, whatever it is, for protection from your home. And that's kind of what I use it here too. They're at home, they protect the home when we're not home, and they serve a good purpose. Whether if an intruder comes in, can I say, are my dogs are gonna stop the threat? I don't know. It hasn't happened, but what I've seen, their demeanor, their instinct to protect is there. You know, um, but even just their physique just intimidate somebody to, they think twice, like, man, should I really go in that house? Or man, that not.
Yeah, yeah, and hearing them, right, or seeing them, it's gonna. If I was gonna break into a house, I would much rather prefer to break into a house with zero dogs than a house with, you know, a dog, right?
Yeah.
A, it's gonna bark, right? B, it might bite you. So yeah, it's just a good deterrent. But yeah, for us too, same thing, like some, a guardian, right, at the house, right, like a little watchdog, but a family companion. Um, I think probably when people are buying dogs or looking for dogs, they should probably know what the dog is like, meant for, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not gonna do this stuff, but you're looking for like a Belgian Malinois because you think they're cool, right? Like, oh, this is a cool ass dog, and bro, what are you gonna do when you get that dog, right? Even like a poorly bred one that's doesn't like that's not doing stuff right. The people aren't breeding it for that. It's still in them, right? And especially that dog, I feel
Oh
like the
yeah.
breed is still like it's newer over here that people it's like gaining popularity, so people are getting them. So the most of the ones are getting are still very like prey drive and game, and they still their brains are working that way, right? Where they need something to do, and then you buy it because you think it's cool, and maybe you go on a bare minimum walks, right? But you're not doing any activities with it. You're not even training it. There's just nothing going on, and then your house is destroyed, and then you're like, oh my god, I don't understand, and what are we gonna do? Then you got to get rid of it, or it bites somebody, right? It's like, well, what did you get this dog for? Do you even know what was the first, right? Like, what was it intended for, right, in the beginning? I think that's important,
Yeah. No,
like
no,
for
definitely.
anybody, do some homework.
Yeah. What's up, Foreign? How's it going, bro? No, no,
Lauren, what
for
up?
sure. I have a buddy of mine, and shout out to him, Caesar at Rancho Cabrera over there in Vegas. Um, he bought a Belgian Malinois, and he bought it for his son because his son boxes, right? So in his mind, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get him a dog so he could go out with the dog and run and stuff like that, right? But he didn't know how much energy these dog and how much drive they have. So he has horses, chickens, and stuff that he's like, oh well, he has plenty of room to roam the yard, and he'll be fine in the ranch. Well, yeah, the dog got bored, and guess what? He started going after the chickens. Just he wouldn't even eat them; he would just kill them because he was so bored that he needed to drain all that energy. So
Yeah.
he started going after the horses, and so he called me. He's like, "Man, what should I do with this?" And I was like, "Man, well, that dog needs a lot of activity, bro." I was like, maybe get on the horses and take him with you, whether you go, when you go horseback riding, take him with you. And he's been taking him, and man, but that dog keeps up, and he's like, man, we go miles, bro, of just trails, and he's like, and the dog is there, and he said it. He's like, my son, I got it for my son, and my son does go out here and there, but it's just once they start running, the dog is not trained, so he really wanted to just take off, so it wasn't
Yeah.
working for his son. And he's like, man, we go out to the lake, and I literally throw him in the middle of the lake, and this dude would swim back to shore to where we're at, just because I need to drain him down. He's like, after
Yeah.
2 3 times I do that, he kind of still calmed down. He's like, but he's still excited to do things. And I've seen it when I go out there, man. You got a ball, he'll you get tired before the dog gets tired. That's how, and that's what he said. And I told him, well, those dogs' purpose is different than any other dog you might have out there, like a regular, golden retriever and stuff, where they're more mellow, their demeanor, their temperament is more chill. Like these dogs are looking something to do to work. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
he's like, man, I like the dog because man, I could take him out with me when I go horseback riding. He's like, a lot of the times the dog is right next to the horses, but he'll alert me before I even see anything, whether it's a coyote. He said last time he ran into a snake, and the dog saw it first before the horse or him. And he's
Nice.
like, and I'm glad the dog alerted me because he's like, if the horse, he would have freaked out. He's like, man, he would have thrown me on my ass.
Yeah, then that would have been some whole nother bad news.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It was interesting that lady asking that question. She made me think. My when she asked that question, my brain was going somewhere else. I was thinking purebred dogs, the purpose of each dog. But when I asked her if she had dogs, she said, yeah. She had a little mix, and it was more like her emotional support dog. I asked her later, you have kids and stuff? She's like, I do, but they're grown. And I think after they left home, I kind of felt sad, got into a little depression, and I found this dog, running on the streets, and he's been my companion and my emotional dog. I was suffering from anxiety, and so I told her, I was like, well, that's his purpose. That's his purpose for you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
exactly. Even if that doesn't have one,
yeah,
that dog
exactly.
does.
Yep,
That's that dog's purpose for that household where it's at.
it's true. And I think that's why too. Depending on I'll say a well-bred dog, knowing their temperament, could be a good animal to have. Not exactly to do what they were bred for, but just have them. If you need them just for companion, because if you have a stable, unstable temperament, you might not want the dog no more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and if you get it for a companion, right? Let's say like, oh, we don't want it for this. We just, want a companion because most people in the world have pets, right? It's gonna
yeah,
literally be a pet. But if you had a pet who is, unstable, right, or has some like nervous issues, now you have a problem, right? It's like no purpose, it's poorly bred. Not
yeah,
even that it's looks good, but it's just not right, and its temperament is horrible. Um, that's a problem.
that is,
Well,
yeah,
now you have some other kind of issues, and it's a liability, right, to your family and others.
true, yeah. And then there's some dogs that serve a purpose, whether you know you have these influencers making videos and stuff, and the purpose of their dog is you know to help them create content.
Yeah.
We use that too. We use our dogs, and I'm assuming most of us out there that have dogs, we use our dogs to have content. That's
Oh yeah.
some kind of purpose they serve to us.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
What's up, Asu? How's it going, brother?
What's going on? Yeah, we see that, people, and I think sometimes for other people, maybe like with more popular stuff that are using it like strictly content, then you get into something else, right? Because then people like, oh, look at this dog, like from this movie,
Yeah,
right? And then it comes like popular, and then you get issues with that because everybody bought Dalmatian for 101 Dalmatians, and they realize, oh my God, this is horrible for my children, right? Everybody buys these other dogs, and then it's like, hey, this is not what it is, or they think they're gonna get this cool little bully dog, and all the stuff that's mixed in there comes out, and then nobody wants it, so they send it to the shelter because the Labrador came out, and then it looks ugly, right? And sometimes people buy it for the look, right? But
yeah,
you know, ugly dogs need love too. But those are all little things that
yeah.
put
No,
it
no,
that,
for
or
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and
But
you know what? It's crazy because I know I told you probably like 2 months ago I rescued a little Chihuahua mix from the streets
oh
that he was
yeah,
gonna get ran over, right? And I haven't found him a home, but
you still at your
he
house?
he's still at my house.
Ah, he found his purpose. That's
Eh,
it.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say right now. He found his purpose. He was, just to stay here. But it's pretty cool because I feel that my dogs got him out of that shell he was in. Because with my wife, he was able to come out, be around her. But once I get
Yeah.
home, he will go hide behind the couch and he wouldn't come out. So I
Oh
was
wow.
like, man, was this dog getting abused by a man that maybe, he finds me scary and stuff. So he was hiding. And but I think seeing my dogs come to me once I was getting home, he started realizing like, oh, this is not too bad. So now that little dude comes out, he comes and greets me, but like I say, he's like a Chihuahua mix. That's my alarm for anything now because now he's barking for whatever. Here's a noise, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? Your purpose it was to be with me. Your purpose is gonna be to be my alarm. I have the other dogs they alert me, but this little dude, man, he has a good ear because for what little sound they make, he's on it, and then the other ones jump up and like, okay, where are we going? So it was cool.
Yeah, little dogs are fun. We don't have any little dogs in the house. I've had little dogs in the past. Um, but yeah, we don't have any little dogs currently. Who knows,
Yeah,
maybe in
no,
the future.
I got the French bulldogs and this little Chihuahua, and now, hey, my Frenchie's purpose now is to chase out squirrels. I'm trying to
There,
teach them out. I tested them to see if they had that little drive in them, and I
there
and
you
I caught
go.
one, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna kill this squirrel. I'm gonna let it loose, but I just want to see if my little French bulldogs, will go after it. And I was like, because then they'll kind of. I showed them where were the holes from the squirrels, and I pointed them out, and I acted like something was coming out, and they were on it. And I recorded a few seconds of them chasing the squirrel, and I was like, okay, you know what? You guys made me proud. Seems like you will go after it. So,
Right? That's all.
uh,
That's all we needed to see.
yeah, exactly. And you know what? And it was hot that day. It was I think like 98 degrees, and they were out there, trying to run and everything. But like I said, I wasn't gonna be stupid enough to leave them out there for a long period, them running and stuff like that, because it's hot.
Yeah, just in like monitored situations,
Yeah,
right?
for
It'll
sure.
keep it.
No, definitely. I had somebody else ask me something here. Oh, yeah, here it is. um, when I did my that class I did for that reproduction, I met a guy
Oh
there
yeah.
in the class, and
Mm-hmm.
he bred I think they're called plows, some kind of breed, right? But
Uh-huh.
he he hunts bears with them,
Oh wow. Yeah.
right? And pretty cool breed. I didn't know it. And that's I guess my thought when he said that, I'm thinking, oh, the dogs go after the bears, and they have a full blown fight and stuff. But no, so I guess they track the bears, right? And they alert where the bear's at. They do chase the bear, and usually, the bear runs up a tree, and I forgot the word he called it, but the dog is literally just barking his lungs out at the tree, just alerting until the owner comes, and it's like, okay, they'll stop. So then I guess that's when the owner does his thing and stuff. But he did mention that there were a couple of stories that you know he has lost a couple of dogs because a couple of bears didn't run and they stood their ground, and he lost a couple of dogs because of that. But the dogs did go after the bear. They defended, but if oh, there you go. See,
Yeah, like
yeah, it's
they'll just
bloodhound. Yeah,
oh, that's what I was gonna
yeah,
say. Yeah, they'll just treat them. Yeah.
yeah. What's up, Michael? Yeah, and that was
See,
pretty cool,
these guys
man.
know. I knew somebody would know.
Yeah, see, and he did offer. When hunting season came up, he's like, "Dennis, you guys are more than welcome to come down and show you how we do it out here." Um, and he's from North Carolina. I guess they have a lot of black bears down there, and So that was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, for sure. And he lives
Yeah, that
like
is cool.
deep
Yeah,
in
I've
the
seen
woods.
some videos.
Was that?
Yeah, I've seen some videos of that where some other ones they like treat them, but they're like not that it's a different kind of hound, and they just bark crazy at them, just like a
Yeah,
crazy like a, and they just right there. So they're gonna beat you, right? You're gonna send them out, so they got them with the GPS, and then you follow them on the
yeah,
tracker, like where they go. They could be there for a long time. You just following them, the GPS and the barking, and they just got them up there. Like, okay, cool, here we come. But it's pretty
yeah. No, no.
badass
And
to
you know
see
what?
those
I didn't
videos.
know anything about bear hunting, right? So I asked like, oh, so do you guys just what do you guys do with the bear? But no, he's like, man, we eat the meat, and I forgot what he said he makes. But he'll put it in a can, and I don't know what, but he'll prepare like some stuff for it. Um, he did mention though, I forgot what part of the bear he did not touch because he's like, if law enforcement caught you with it or trying to sell, it's like, man, you do hard time.
Really,
We had plot. Oh
people
man,
use for
hey,
husband. Yeah, see, that's pretty cool.
yeah. Well, see, like Darren breeds a lot of the standard American bulldog, and he's done a lot of hog hunting. He's put his dogs on the hogs, um, and that's part of the, you know, I guess purpose of the American bulldog as well.
Yep.
So,
A
Robert.
dog's purpose is to be a man's best friend, companion, and help with certain tasks depending on the breed. That's my 2 cents. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's
true.
actually pretty
Right on point there.
sums it up. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's just about everything. But yeah, they have that too with the hog baying and stuff. Um, that's pretty cool as well when they have those like competitions too.
You know what? That would be pretty cool, man. I know it's hard probably here in Cali or even some surrounding areas that you could put some of these dogs on these hogs and kind of see, you know, what they're made of. You know,
Yeah,
I know some dogs will run, depending if the hog hits them. Some dogs will literally just tuck their tail all the way under,
yeah,
and they don't want a
gone.
part of it. But then you have the ones that they get hit and they're like, "Oh hell no, I'm coming right back at you."
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, which is cool. But yeah, there and out of those two, I've seen some cool like crosses, come out of that, like out of more like of necessity, right? People cross dogs all the time. Sometimes people do it for different reasons, for looks or because you can't afford two of the same breed, right? But there is a lot of very cool crosses that I've seen people like do out of that, like right, for hunting or like different things.
Yeah,
Get some pretty like badass dogs from those crosses, right? The best of these two to get a job done or a task, depending on where you're at. But sometimes you get some pretty cool, you know, some pretty cool dogs out of that could really do some work.
yeah, you get both worlds in one.
Yeah.
Hola,
Yeah,
Jesus,
that's
¿cómo
always
estás? We
cool.
got on Instagram Jesus from Guardy Bulls. Just sending a shout
Jesus.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
for
some
sure.
cool
And
stuff.
and like you said, they breed sometimes two different breeds to create something for a certain purpose. And hold on, what do you say?
We have an old in Hawaii that's training for hogs and iron dog sports. Yeah, Panther. Yeah, see, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you send dogs places and they use them for different things.
true. Robert, if that dog that you posted, that white dog that he's at the beach, and that's a pretty nice looking dog for sure.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. He actually
Yeah,
has a breeding coming up too.
there you go, Stage.
Or I think he already confirmed it.
Well,
Those
Robert,
are gonna be, yeah, I think those dogs are gonna be pretty bad.
there you go. Yeah, definitely. No, and then our purpose too for our dogs is, man, to bring joy to families. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like that, when you see your dog or like family, they post it and these are on vacation or
Yeah.
doing, just fun stuff or with their family photos. That's always, very cool to see. And they're just living life or, that's like the real testament to, what you do, right? Or they
Yeah.
share stories with you and you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Now, with whether they want to kind of test the dogs for what originally they were bred for, hey, try it. You know,
Yeah.
try it. You might have questions. I ain't no expert, but I don't do it. But I'll
Yeah.
be like, hey, go for it. See what happens.
Yeah.
I'll learn something from that as well.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. That's Panther, the white boy on the beach. I posted a video today of him training in the forest. Awesome. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then diverse, right? They can do different stuff. You see them doing one thing and then another thing. Like, oh damn,
Yeah.
it's not just like one thing, or they could do it all and fit in wherever, regardless of the situation or the family.
Yeah, no,
Or
no,
like
for
proud
sure.
parents for sure. Yes, exactly. Proud parents. Like, look at what I did. And it's always cool to share. When you see that and you share, there's like some families like I
Hey,
brag
Martin.
about or I
Yeah.
tell them stuff. Like, hey, check this out. I tell families about like other people about you guys all the time. Or like when people like people meet off of that, like this family, and you're the comment person, and they both have dogs, and now they're like
They're
friends.
friends. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now those dogs are meeting on the outside because of those people, right? That's always cool too, putting stuff together. What's up, Martin?
Yeah. And you know what? Some of these dog shows, that's a good, avenue to meet, because you can invite different people that have your dogs, and they might live on the same city with them, and they'll start sharing
Yeah.
stories and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Or like when you post, like you do something or show your dog, and then they're like, "Oh my god," so and so, whatever their puppies or dog's name was, like does the same exact thing, and then they're like that. They get to see that, right? And for the most part, or some of us have dogs that we've had for a long time, or like been in our homes, right? There's other dogs maybe used for breeding purposes, but like I know you have some dogs too, that we've had for a very long time. So, the fact that they could see that is like, yeah, this dog was a puppy and now it's 10 years old. And now you're sharing those moments, of the grandson or their, son or daughter with that, which is pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, for
Good night,
sure.
gents.
Hey, Nicholas.
Yeah, those are, that's what it's about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
It's
that kind of stuff speaks for itself, right? You don't have to really make anything up or hype it up,
yeah.
right? Nothing too catchy. Hey, is
True.
what it is what
It
it
is what
is,
it
right?
is. Yeah.
That long caption ain't gonna change, what your dogs are doing or what they
Yeah.
look like, right? Maybe it'll help you sell another puppy or two, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna really make your dog any bigger or better.
No, true that. Yeah, and that's what it is all about. I think the dogs play a big part in everybody's life who owns a dog.
Mhm.
Whether it's minimal or it's a whole deal with it.
Yeah.
And just like yesterday, my in-laws came and visited us, right? And my wife called me and she's like, "Oh, my parents are here," and I'm like, "All right, cool. Well, I'll be home in maybe 40 minutes." So by the time I'm driving over here, I get home and I could see her. She's kind of a little upset. I could tell something's wrong, and so I go to my room. She comes in and I'm like, "You all right?" She's like, "Yeah, it's just my parents are driving me crazy." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Man, well, we have the dogs here, right? And we have Diesel. Diesel's is older now, and so my wife had him inside the house, I guess, and her dad seen them, and he's like, "Oh, that dog is already old. You should put him down." Oh, that hit a nerve. So she's like, "That's my dad. I get it." But I went off on him, because that's my dog.
crazy.
Like, how you gonna come to my house and say, "Oh, put your dog down," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
especially like her dogs. Yeah.
exactly, those are her dogs. So
That's like what I was like, what?
yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh," so it was a little bit awkward when she told me. I was like, "Oh," so that's why I felt that tension once I walked in the door.
Oh, because you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there. Yeah,
Oh, so you already were like, whoa, what did I walk into?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of crazy. It's yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
I
crazy to
was like,
say. But that's
yeah,
something like your mom or dad would say, right? Like
correct. Yeah,
anybody, mom or dad, you
yeah.
know.
And her, what her answer? She even told me she's like that. So when you get older, should I put you down even if you're still breathing?
Yeah, you look pretty old too, right? You're old
Yeah.
already. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, my daughter just sometimes they'll be like, well, are you gonna sell them or are they going over there? I'm like, would you sell us? I'm like, this is different, but I see what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Now, whether he was old and I know he was suffering or something else, then that's a different story, right? But he's
Yeah.
just old, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just an older dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still got some life. We tried the show scene, but it's not for our dogs. They don't fit in. If we go again, it's just to meet people and let people see a couple dogs, but we won't show again. Just different dogs and type. Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah. Robert, well,
valid.
maybe depending on the registry as well. I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
right? You know,
Yeah,
maybe you should come down,
maybe we
with
got to
a
put you on the podcast.
yeah.
I want to hear more
Yeah.
about that,
Yeah, Robert, that'd be cool if
Robert. This is your
if you're
official
down to
invite.
be on it. Yeah, for sure. We would like to have you there.
I actually, you've met him before, or no? Yeah, right.
I did.
Real
I
life.
met him at the Beast. Yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
met him.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was at the Beast, I think, with you, but I
Yeah.
met him recently. He did transport for me. He came down here to LA. He had some pretty cool dogs in there, some little badass dogs. I made me want to get an old over there that he has, one of those oldies.
Oh.
But yeah, they
Oh
were
yeah, you
pretty
did
cool.
mention it that he had a badass little
That
puppy with him.
Yeah, that black one. Yeah, I really liked it. I was like, oh dang. But he did have some cool dogs in there too, like for transport. It wasn't like regular, dogs. It was a cool mix of dogs. So, but he was a cool guy, man. He was a cool guy. They communicated good, and everything was on time. So 5 stars. Shout out
And
to
Gabriel, you had
Bud
that
Health.
tucked away. I didn't know about that transportation.
Oh yeah, that was a secret.
There you go.
That was a secret transportation right there. That dog will pop up. That dog will pop up pretty soon. I have a good feeling.
There you go.
I definitely wouldn't mind being on there with you guys sometime. Let's go. There
There
you
you
go.
go. Hey,
We
we'll
gotta
set
lock,
something
we
up,
gotta lock
Robert,
you
for
in.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Maybe when those puppies come, we could see them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, for sure. Um, but there you go. If you move that dog, you send it somewhere else where it was gonna have a different purpose, right?
Yeah, and it is definitely a different purpose, going a different
See?
way, that's for sure. So this purpose has changed. Much appreciated. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, different purpose, different program.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know what? And it's like you said, you had dogs most of your life. Same with me. I think I, started with mixed dogs, and then got into like the German Shepherd, but I didn't feel like a connection with them, right? I couldn't. Pretty cool dogs, but really
Yeah.
not my type of dog, right? So then I moved into the boxers, right? And I liked them. I liked them, and then they introduced me to the American Bulldog, and it was a different story.
Yeah.
It was a different connection once I saw it, and it was like, okay, this is it. This is my purpose. This dog is my purpose. I need to
Yeah.
move with him, and fell in love with the breed. And at that time, I only knew about the classic American Bulldog, the Johnson type.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't know about, the standards and stuff, and so that was pretty cool. And then I guess at that time my mentor, he kind of brought me up on the shows and stuff, and I think one of the first shows that I went, it was one of Randy Bybee's show, and that's
Okay.
when I kind of realized the different types, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. And I think at that time I even asked myself that question: would I buy a standard dog? But since I was living in the city at that time, I was like, I don't think it'd be a good fit for me to have it here in the city. Just because they were a little bit more energized, their dogs,
Yeah.
more prey drive. So I was like, now the American Bulldog, the Johnson type that we have, it was more of a chill dog that I could have him in the city, still burn his energy down there, and it was pretty cool. So that was that's why I say my purpose. It was the classic American Bulldog.
Yeah, no, for me too. That's the same thing for sure. Yeah, the pups coming should be something else. Half sibling breeding. Yeah, those dogs are impressive. So yeah, it's gonna be should be something good. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, yeah, no, that's definitely. We've always had dogs too. Same thing. Like they're memorable, but it wasn't like we're attached. They're just like, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate, where they have a dog in their home, right? Like,
Yeah,
sure, like 10 people could say like, oh yeah, we did. We had this dog, this dog. It wasn't really mine. It was my sister's. It wasn't really mine. It was like my dad's dog, or it wasn't like it's somebody's dog in the house, right? And it's always like we don't even know how we got it. I don't ever think people were buying from like a breed. They just like I don't know. We found it one day, or somebody came home, or my cousin had a puppies, and we just brought it home, and we had it ever since, right?
true.
Those are always cool when you come up, with that. But I think if you're shopping, for a puppy, if you happen to get a dog or stumble upon a dog, whatever. But if you're going to be shopping, for a puppy, yeah, you should do some due diligence, or even with the
Hey,
dog
Robert,
bite.
here's a question. Since I know you said you're doing half siblings breeding. What's the purpose on that breeding? What is it, to lock in certain traits, temperament, you know, or to lock in a pheno or a geno in there that you're like, I think this breeding is gonna do it, or it's just to preserve a line that you want to keep moving forward with it.
Yeah, double up on something.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We did a father daughter too. We will confirm that breeding just after. See, I know I like this guy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We did a father daughter. Yeah, that's what it's about. There you go.
Yep. We done it too before, so and
Yeah,
we like what we got from it. So it was,
yeah, and it works.
yeah.
Got some females in heat over here right now.
There you
We want
go.
to lock in temperament, structure, type, pheno, and geno.
There you
Boom.
go.
And that, my friends, is the way to go. That's the way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm starting to see that more and more. Or maybe people are just being more open with it.
Yeah.
Also preserving. I think maybe they're being more open with it. Like instead of
That's
hiding it, now they're like putting it out there. There's like a
yeah.
lot of things, right? That's probably for another show, but yeah, I think people are like, hey, look, you do something, and then everybody like, oh my god, how could they? And then somebody else does it, and they're like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. Man, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that mess.
That's true. That's
Get
true.
out of
Yeah,
here.
you're right. And some people, try to get validation from like old school breeders, like, oh, what do you think was, you know, did you ever do this close? And suddenly they'd be like, yes, we did. We
Yeah, we
got
did
the
that a lot because
yeah.
yeah, and that's how we got your favorite dogs.
Yeah. But like you said, I think now they're more open to it. That's why you see
Yeah,
more people doing it. But I believe, if you do it right, the results speak for themselves.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, and like everything else, nothing's perfect, right? But there's some plans that are work out better than others.
Yeah. And I think the key there
That's for
is
sure.
the selecting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a major, part. Because if you're selecting wrong, by whether it's your fault or not, right? Like sometimes you just think something's gonna be something and it isn't, but then then you keep going forward with that, and you're screwed, right? Or you mess it up again and you pick wrong again, and you're like, oh man, and you get further and further from it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it really exposes what your lines carry because you're going to produce some good dogs, but you're going to produce some stuff that you didn't know you had back there,
Hmm.
especially if you don't test your dogs, like, genetically and stuff, and you don't know if they carry any disease before you even do any kind of inbreeding or whatever. It's good to know before because then you
Yeah,
don't double up on that.
yeah, something, basically to give you a little, like at least a blueprint of,
Yeah.
that stuff. It's something that should be done to lock in. That's how purebreds came about. A lot don't realize it and frown upon it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the majority of people, not in the dog world or animal world, yeah, they frown upon it, but that's how we get everything, that we got.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, most people, they frown upon it. It sounds weird when you say it, you're like, well, like it's not humans, it's not the same.
Exactly. And I think that's because they
Right.
relate that to humans a lot.
I think that's what it is. Like people that are like that, like if dogs are the same, or I had I was at the dentist the other day, and they were like, they seen my phone, my dog, and oh, you have dogs, and then like, oh yeah, don't you breed dogs and this and that, and then my dentist was like drilling in my mouth, and they were like, oh, my dog is this and has this, and we were asking like all these questions, and some of them they're like, look at my dog. You think it's too fat? They said it's too fat, and it's just like they treat it certain ways,
Yeah.
like it's their kids, and that's what even said. Like, I don't know if I could even have kids because my dog is like like my kid already, and like it's just some like different things, and but you see the relationships that people have with it, and then you tell them like they're like, oh, and that's where I'm going with it. They said, oh, doesn't the mom get sad when you take away the puppies? Like I heard that they cry, and I'm like, man, I'm at 8 weeks, they got teeth and claws, they're trying to suck on the mom's nipples. Their mom want to get away from them.
True.
And yeah, they don't have a memory of that. That's not even like what we've had that happen recently. I'm like, oh yeah, they definitely don't remember each other, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's always something, but yeah, it's to the regular person, right? It's all foreign, but the more you get into it and you learn and you do stuff, just a better understanding. Like anything, right? Most problem come from mother to son breeding. That's a no go for us. Yeah, I mean, to me, I've to me, inbreeding is inbreeding.
Yeah.
Father to daughter, sister, brother. Yeah, just the genes are coming from different places. Um, but
And
yeah,
yeah, no. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. For me, it's different too. I wouldn't mind doing a mother to son. Um, but that's like you said, that's for another podcast that maybe when we have them on the podcast, we could get it kind of into that and stuff and
yeah, I think
talk
that's
more
good. Yeah, we
about it.
could something
Yeah.
and get some more information, and just it's good. The more people talk about stuff, those kind of things. I think even regular people are intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Or I had people tell me like, I didn't even realize that much goes into it, or that those kind of things matter, or that you could even tell from that, right? And it's like, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the first thing people are too are like, they say, like, oh, these backyard breeders. I kind of hate that word because it's thrown around all the time. Like, oh yeah, and it was like an inbred dog, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the reason why the dog was crazy like it was,
Yeah.
but if both dogs are crazy, it doesn't matter if they're inbred or not. Like then the mistake was breeding those two dogs, not the dogs are related. It was
True.
you bred these two dogs with these bad qualities or bad traits together. They could have been two different breeds of dogs, not related in any way, shape, or form. But then you doubled up on that, right?
Yeah.
Or like they both were unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because two zeros don't make a two, right? It's just that's still zero. But if you have one and one, you put it together, and there you
Makes it good.
go,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's more where it comes from, not the relationships, but what they carry, which is why even at least basic, health testing or like temperament, like observation,
Yeah.
all right. And a lot of those things are like some of the times are accidents, right? I think, right? It's like, or you have those breeders like they have the same dog and they're just like breeding the same pair like over and over, and just because they're there in the house, and they hey, you see them on Craigslist or whatever, like, and it's just that they, need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then who knows if they're good or not, right? It could be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get free dogs and they could be good. You could pay 10,000 and get a bad dog.
That's true.
It kind of just depends, right? But in that case, where your family is involved, you would want to mitigate those, as much as you can.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Like, all right, let me get some kind of assurance before I let this creature in my home that, the chances of my face
destroy my house. Yeah.
The chances of my face getting ripped off are lower, than
That is true. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and then creating your dog, that was the same thing that I said. Isn't that bad for them? Like, no, it's actually good for them. And you're gonna come and they're gonna turn your stove on and the burner is where your stove. You're not gonna have a house because you felt bad putting them in a crate.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, come on, it sucks. We lost a 6-week-old pup today. Is that what it says? We lost a 6-week-old pup today to Waterbury. He was perfectly fine and healthy. Then all of a sudden today, out of nowhere, it hit. We had to put him down. It was a bottle baby. We was able to save the sister and lost him today. His sister is doing great, though. A lot of work to save them both. Wow. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Robert, what's the cost of that?
Yeah, I've heard of that or like seen it online. I've never like experienced it. Yeah, that's a good question. And does it come right away?
Yeah,
right.
Like how do you detect it? I know probably the brain is you have a bigger skull or something, or it's shaped a little bit different.
Yeah, or I've seen when they come out like water, like everything.
Yeah.
And then I've seen them come back from that, right?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot of. I've seen it a lot in the bullies.
Yeah.
English bulldogs, they have like
and they show them, right? They're just like super like swollen, fat. Yeah, and then they say they bring it back. I don't know. That's all the time, or But yeah, anytime you're trying to bottle feed a puppy, man, that shit is rough. I don't care what breed it is.
You had one of those, right?
You
gave up on
it. I gave up. I said, man, I don't even care. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. And then my girl was like, no, come on. She seen I was frustrated. I really wanted that. And she seen that I was frustrated and I wanted it to work out. I was just, maybe kind of inexperienced too. With everything. And that dude is a beast and a half. But yeah, I think he was gonna make it. And then she fed him like a baby, made like a little homemade incubator with like a blanket and a towel, a light, little plastic box. And we just put him next to the bed. It was pretty solid though, and just feeding him like every couple hours. And now this guy will break through your freaking door.
Yeah.
Dude, the monster. So those things happen, but it was by no means easy.
Yeah, no, for real. Because I remember that day you called me too, and you were like, bro, I don't think I could do this no more. Like, you know what? Mom doesn't want them. She ain't helping. And,
Yeah. And they come to find out, like, she did want them, but she was just rough. I don't even know if she did.
You thought she wanted to eat them, right?
I thought she was going to eat them. And then she was like, kind of looked freaked out. But turns out like she wasn't. And then when she had like a full litter, she was just really mouthy with them. My other female is not like that. She'll nudge them, she'll grab them with her hands. This female was like super, everything was just like, and she was trying to put two in her mouth, and they all were alive, but that's just the way, she did it. Like, she was just really like National Geographic with it. And I was, because it was one, so I was like, I can't lose this one. But then when I had 8, I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and let you do what you're gonna do. And then I'm like, okay.
So she had a singleton first.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you bred her again, and she had 8.
A full litter, yeah. So then like a large litter. So then it was like I got to like observe. And that first one I was like, hey, what's going? It was a lot. But then when it was it was 7 or 8 of them, it was, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. But yeah, she was still a little bit too,
Too
I
rough
mean,
with them.
yeah, too rough with them. But you know what? They're all kind of rough like that. So the vet said they had no idea what caused it. Nothing can be done. Unfortunately, he said it usually hits sooner or can happen anytime. Crazy stuff. He had a big old head, large top skull.
Wow.
Wow. Those are the bad stuff, the stories where nobody,
Really talks
like talks
about, yeah.
about, or you don't think that could happen. And you're like, oh, cool, I'm out of the woods the first 24, 48 hours. And then week 2 hits, and then you're like, oh, what's happening? They're fading.
Yeah, true that,
Normally, I'm gonna let nature take its course kind of person,
True.
but it was special breeding with the old evil blood he was wanting to preserve. Luckily, we have a sister. Hopefully, she turns out and makes the cut to be in the program. Yeah, see, exactly. That was the same thing like with me. The second time, I'm like, hey, nature, all right, what's meant to be is gonna be. And then the first time, I was like, okay, nature is really playing hard with me right now. This is, I don't get this chance all the time, which is, why we did that. But I still gave up.
Yeah,
At
no,
the
for
end,
sure.
at the end, it worked out. It still gives me a headache to this day.
No, it is true because when I got into the boxers, I think I only did one breeding, and you know, I think that female had 10 pups and only survived one, but not because the pups were fading or anything. It's just that I don't know if mom was just like I said, even the moms know when something is wrong, that something was wrong with these
Mm.
pups, right? So she was pushing them off, and I'm like, why? So I kept putting them on her and stuff. And then I'll walk out, I'll come back, and I'll find puppies with half a body or the head chewed out. And I'm like, what?
Oh my god!
Yeah. And I was like, and it was my first time realizing, like, so I'm thinking, like, why is she doing like why? I'm like, she's eating. Why is she eating these dogs? But
Yeah,
my dad, old school guy, he just said, "Hey, don't worry. Something must have been wrong in there, and she knows, and she's just taking care of it." And that one puppy that survived, healthy, running around. And I remember I gave it away to one of my friends, and you know, good dog, but you know, hey, nature did its thing with mom. She knew something was wrong, and I believe in the wild.
yeah.
That's what happens too. I think
Oh
you
yeah,
know the moms usually, if something is wrong, they'll push it, or they'll literally cool it themselves there.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. Kind of the fittest. Breeding isn't all rainbows and sunshine. That's for sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
that is
not.
true.
Yeah,
It's not for the weakest.
definitely
That's true, because
not.
today
Not for
I
the
did
weak.
saw a post today, and somebody called somebody out, and they made a post, and they said they did a breeding, and I guess a dog was owed to somebody, and they didn't want to give the dog away because they had a litter. I think of, I don't know, I think 5 puppies or whatever, but they didn't have them. The thing is that one of the puppies got stuck, and one of the persons was the one that's expecting the dog was like, "Hey, take it, go get an emergency C-section, so you could, at least save the ones that are still inside." And
Mm.
he's like, "No, no, I got faith. She's gonna push him out and stuff like that." Well, only one puppy came out, and guess what? He lost mom and the pups. So the
Ah,
guy was pissed off, and he's like, "Now he got me blocked and all that stuff." And it's like, well,
yeah. That's that's the only thing that that those things kind of change everything. We
yeah,
can only do so much. Moms know when something isn't right, and they will call themselves. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That
they
that's
know
that's
something
that's what,
inside of them.
yeah, they know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, that 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 boxer I had, um, one of the puppies' legs was kind of different, right? And I'm like, man, what's wrong with it? And that's the first one. When I'm telling you, I walked away, I came back, half of the body was gone. Like she chewed it out, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, nah, this dog's just evil, you know, she's killing her pups. But I'm telling you, I was ready, like, man, this dog, like, why is she doing that? And I'm like, nah, she can't stay here no more. But that's when Pops was like, no, I was like, something is wrong in there, you know, and she knows it. That's why she's doing it for you. And I'm like, okay.
Mm,
Now that I'm
yeah,
older, I kind of understand it better.
yeah, yeah. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's rough. Sykes pups. What up, Sykes?
Hey, what up,
Yeah,
Sykes?
that's tough. And then yeah, that's just like today. That's like a regular day,
Yeah.
right? So like it just happens, right? You're like, what the heck? Yeah, and like you're not expecting that, or it seems like things happen.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think now, like Robert said, I'll let nature do his thing, whether pups are gonna survive or not, you know, kind of go for it.
Yeah,
But but example, like you only had one and you really wanted that, you worked hard for that one, then probably I'll intervene and try to, make sure that, it moves forward.
yeah. This one was a little different situation. Nature was already working against us.
Yeah.
My mom's called ruthless, no doubt. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
it's not.
definitely. Yeah.
It's not. What is that word? Yeah, it's ruthless. Yeah, and that's just nature, right? It's like, damn, like that, mom.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when she did that, I was like, man, I even thought about it. I was like, man, this dog, is she gonna turn on me too, or what's going on?
Yeah,
But no, Pops was like, no, I've seen it. Don't worry. He's like, something's wrong with the pups, and she's just doing what it's, instinct for her.
yeah, instinct. Yeah, they still have that, non-negotiable sex. But yeah,
Yeah.
can't take any chances.
Yeah.
There's no assistance, right? Like in the wild, in nature, no. It's
Yeah.
either you can, you
Yeah.
can, or
Whether
you
you,
can't. That's it.
yep.
Do or don't. Do or
The
die,
weakest is
actually.
not gonna make it. Yep.
Yeah, which is good. And that's kind of
It-
cool when people still do that, right? I think we've talked to some people that kind of are more that approach. Because it's important, just like breeding, right? A lot of people say, like, oh yeah, she's a good mother, right? Um, easy, right, to breed. Because then you have some moms and you breed them, they're horrible, right? I've heard like stories like
yeah.
that where like, oh my gosh, just she's a horrible at being a mother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there is that are just like natural, and you don't got to really help a lot. You're just kind of watching. They do everything because really they're supposed to be able to take the sack out, clean them up, and
Yeah.
nurse them, right?
Yep.
Um, so that's why I think it's important when when those moments are happening that you kind of let that happen, right? The least amount of help, the better. Um, just because I think it's good for them. How much help will you guys uh, give a pup?
Um, you know what? I think it'll be not much.
Yeah.
If I feel if the pup is not strong enough to make it during those couple of hours, and if I see that it's born good and stuff, but I start seeing that it starts getting weak for whatever reason, I really will not intervene, because then to me that means something was not right in there.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of nature where we can let it, take its course because we already helped a lot, right? We
Yeah,
already put the dogs together. We already helped them come out. We already broke the sack, maybe.
and I've
Um,
never tube feed any pups.
yeah, no, me neither. I've just
Yeah, I
done
don't.
like a bottle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that direction, I don't think so. But
Yeah, never even really helped. I've seen some where they're like helping the ones that aren't really getting the milk, like and they're like feeding it extra. I just moved them around. And then if
yeah,
I move you a few times and you're still not getting it, all right, big dog.
yeah,
Like,
like
yeah,
that's on you.
yeah, that's gonna be on you. I put you to there 3 times and you keep going the wrong way, or these guys are punking you. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to figure it out, right? Because yeah, it's a dog eat dog, and if you can't figure it out here, you're not gonna figure it out later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of, you know,
I will
you
do
gotta get
one bottle a
something.
day. You gotta get some food. Hey, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then that's it. And I gave you your, your help. Yeah, but if you gotta go to like these extreme lanes, it's not,
Yeah, no, no, for sure. But we're coming to our end. It was a good one, good topic.
Yeah,
Thanks everybody that was in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Definitely, Robert. I'll connect with you and set something up, man. I think that'll be a good episode for sure.
yeah, for sure, man. Let's lock it in. But thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
All right, fellas. Thank you. Catch you next Wednesday.